At the end of the 17th century, the American town of Salem witnessed one of the strangest and most difficult trials in its history. People gathered in the freezing cold at the execution square, all awaiting a chilling moment: the execution of a group of women accused of practicing witchcraft. Many of the women tried to defend themselves. They swore they had never cast a spell or even seen a book of magic in their lives. But that wasn't enough. Despite the lack of evidence, everyone was convinced that these women had to be punished for practicing witchcraft. The women were led to the gallows, amid a crowd filled with fear, scorn, and anticipation. Among them, one woman stood out. She didn't cry or try to defend herself like the others. She stood still, in strange calm. Her face alone seemed enough for people to be convinced of her guilt. Her appearance was terrifying to them. Her face was unnaturally wrinkled. She looked far older than her real age. Her clothes were old and tattered, as if she'd never changed them. And her hair was grey, wild, and tangled. Some even swore her eyes were narrow and slitted like a cat's, constantly darting around as if searching for something or someone. Before being led to the gallows, the woman suddenly raised her head, looked directly into the eyes of the onlookers, and in a chilling, raspy voice that sounded like it came from another world, she said. People exchanged confused looks. Then she continued, "On that night, you'll hear a strange scream. A woman giving birth. It'll be her 13th child. But what's born won't be human. It will be a curse. That woman will give birth to a being that will haunt her village and 50 others. She will give birth to the devil." And then she went silent. People stood in stunned silence after hearing her terrifying prophecy. And even after the execution, her words stayed with them, passed down from generation to generation. No one ever expected that this disturbing prophecy might one day come true. In the heart of New Jersey, in a massive pine forest called Pine Barrens, locals have, for hundreds of years, spoken of a terrifying creature. Not animal, not human, but a horrific mix of both. They call it the Jersey Devil. Legend says that every so often, it emerges from its mountain lair and sneaks into the southern New Jersey swamps. Those who've seen it describe it as kangaroo-like, with a long horse-like face, the head of a dog, huge bat-like wings, horns.
Thoughtful. Strangely, there are hundreds of eyewitnesses. People from more than 50 villages have claimed to have seen it. But in January 1909, something different happened. Something people called Black Week. In just 1 week, over 30 reports described the same winged creature flying above houses, vanishing into the trees. Major newspapers, like the Philadelphia Evening Bulletin, published detailed descriptions. Panic spread everywhere. One of the strangest reports came from a railway worker who saw the creature walking along the tracks. As he approached to get a better look, the beast suddenly flew away into the fog. Workers spoke for years about its glowing red eyes. Hunters tried to track it. No one could catch it. Some found bizarre footprints in the snow, unlike anything from any known animal. Farmers spoke of dead animals, collapsed barns and fields that suddenly stopped growing crops. Many began to believe the Jersey Devil appears every 7 years, bringing disasters, floods, earthquakes, droughts, even war. In fact, sightings were reported just before World War I and the Great Depression. The creature evolved from just a scary legend into a real omen of doom. And this wasn't just the talk of farmers. High-ranking officials claimed to have seen the same creature. Businessmen, post office workers, even police officers described the same terrifying features. That's when the Jersey Devil's story began shifting from folklore to something more official, with sightings recorded and reported. One of the most important testimonies came from Joseph Bonaparte, brother of Napoleon Bonaparte, who lived in New Jersey after losing his throne in Spain. Joseph claimed to have seen the creature near Bordentown while hunting. He described it flying with a terrifying roar and vanishing into the woods. Around the same time, famous naval officer Stephen Decatur reported seeing the beast flying above a munitions factory. He fired a cannon at it, but it disappeared unharmed. With repeated sightings and attacks, the legend kept growing. Eventually, the story spread beyond New Jersey to Camden, Philadelphia, Salem, and Bridgeton. People started finding the creature's footprints in snow-covered streets and farms. Shops closed, schools shut down. People were too scared to leave their homes. Even the police were baffled. The newspapers, of course, took advantage of the hysteria. Headlines screamed, "Devil's tracks in the snow," "Citizens terrified," "Jersey Devils seen everywhere." It only made things worse. Philadelphia Zoo offered a $10,000 reward to anyone who could capture the creature or prove its existence scientifically. But no one ever did. Eventually, reports claimed the creature had died, but no evidence supported that. Then came the hoaxes. In 1909, a man named Norman Jeffries, who worked in a circus, bought a kangaroo, added fake wings and claws, and locked it in a cage. He told people it was the Jersey Devil. Thousands visited and took photos with it until the hoax was exposed. But even after that, sightings continued. With all these stories, the scientific community finally stepped in. Some researchers from Philadelphia and the Smithsonian suggested the creature might be a prehistoric survivor, perhaps a flying reptile, like a pterodactyl that escaped extinction. But after long investigations, the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philadelphia concluded there was no biological evidence to support this theory. No skulls, no bones, nothing. Other scientists believed it could be a rare surviving predator like the extinct Tasmanian tiger. But even this didn't match the creature's bizarre description. Some said it resembled gargoyles, those creepy stone statues on Gothic churches that look like winged demons. But that was also just speculation. Eventually, a more grounded theory emerged. It was probably just a large bird, the sandhill crane. This bird can reach 1.5 meters in height, with a wingspan over 2 meters and makes loud, unsettling calls. In fog or darkness, it could easily be mistaken for a monstrous creature. Still, the legend didn't fade. Why? Because the Jersey Devil is deeply rooted in folklore. One popular story says it all started in Leeds Point, New Jersey. A young girl there fell in love with a British. Some say the baby was born normal, but slowly mutated, growing wings, horns, hooves, and a long tail, then flew out the window, vanishing into the night. Others say Mother Leeds was a real woman, Deborah Smith, who married Mr. Leeds and lived in Leeds Point. But researchers found the truth was far more complex. Scholars from Keene University in New Jersey, like Brian Regal and Frank Esposito, traced the story back to a real man named Daniel Leeds, an English settler in the 17th century. He published astrology books that clashed with his religious community, the Quakers, who accused him of heresy and branded him a devil worshipper. Daniel's son, Titan Leeds, continued publishing almanacs using the family's symbol, a winged dragon-like creature called a wyvern, eerily similar to descriptions of the Jersey Devil. In 1735, Benjamin Franklin, yes, the famous founding father, wrote a satirical piece in his newspaper mocking Titan Leeds, predicting his death. When Titan didn't die as predicted, Franklin jokingly claimed Titan had died and his ghost had returned. This added to the Leeds family's cursed reputation. Combined with weird colonial folklore, strange native myths, and early political satire, the legend of the Jersey Devil was born. Even today, no solid evidence has ever proven its existence, but the legend still thrives. In fact, in 1938, New Jersey officially named the Jersey Devil its state demon, a bizarre but real honor no other creature in America has received. Through the 1940s and 50s, reports continued. Some companies even offered $250,000 for proof of the creature's existence. In 2015, someone in Little Egg Harbor claimed to have photographed a flying creature outside their window. The photo went viral. Another truck driver later reported seeing something that looked like a gargoyle leaping between trees. Around that time, Beast of New Jersey, a local website, interviewed Angus Gillespie, a Rutgers University professor of folklore. He said, "The Jersey Devil has evolved from a terrifying monster into a regional mascot. It reflects the community's collective fear of the unknown and their attempt to explain what they don't understand." Over time, the Jersey Devil became more of a pop culture icon than a menace. The local hockey team, the New Jersey Devils, even adopted it as their mascot. Despite centuries of sightings, myths, hoaxes, and failed investigations, the legend refuses to die. Even the famous Mother Leeds cabin has no confirmed historical record. The Leeds family still exists, and their descendants deny any connection to the myth. And maybe that's the real. But whenever I hear stories like this, I think, back in the 18th century, people told tales of a terrifying beast from Africa. No one believed it existed until it was officially discovered in 1847. That beast was the gorilla. One day we might discover the truth behind the Jersey Devil too. Maybe it's not a myth after all.